I was shocked, and then if anyone saw the documentary for HBO, and actually I appears on the documentary because they show me in shock when the president said that. I was like, wow, I would never expect that thing.
The Plan B podcast presents From the Ground Up, Bitcoin is the Individual with Rocelo Lopez, San Fix, and Dusan Matuska.
Who are you and what is your project or company?
Hi, my name is Santiago. Thanks for having us in this amazing convention. We started in Krypton as a facility to enable people to buy anything with cryptocurrency. And currently we are more focused on merchant adoption to enable the merchants to accept cryptocurrencies. We have now more than 2,000 stores in Argentina accepting crypto through us, and as well with our partner in Brazil, Rocelo. They also accept PIX, which is payments in reals, and they receive directly USDT.
Nice. So my name is Dusan, and I'm a Bitcoin educator from Slovakia. My mission is to welcome 100 million people in the Bitcoin rabbit hole one day. So how we do it, we are having education centers. Right now, the main one in Honduras on the Roatan Island. And that's where we do the financial literacy classes for the whole communities. And we finance it with Bitcoin mining. So we are mining Bitcoin in Paraguay and Ethiopia. And with this Bitcoin, we finance the education. We also train the Bitcoin trainers, so educate the educators in various communities around the world.
Hi, my name is Rocelo Lopez. I'm from Brazil. Thank you very much for having me here. What we do in Brazil, it's trying to connect people to the financial system, the traditional financial system, to straight with crypto. So basically, people that don't have access to the traditional financial system now, using crypto, Bitcoin or USDT, they can pay anything in Brazil using that. All they need to do is download their wallet, or some wallets that uses in USDT also can be done. But the way we found is like make it easy to the user to trade every day, to buy goods every day, to pay for the supermarket every day. And I think the same technology now we are having Brazilians using in Argentina and Buenos Aires, like we do with Krypton. We have users using in Paris and France and Portugal, Angola, Paraguay, Uruguay. So these technologies that we developed to make possible to connect the blockchain with the banking chain system, it's good because now the users, they can do that. They can actually use it every day. And foreigners, such our friends over here, now they can go to Brazil and they can pay anything in Brazil with USDT or Bitcoin. So I think this technology is going to be available soon to everyone all over the world. And the cool part is, I thought was a very good way to connect people with the traditional financial system, but using crypto. Because soon, the traditional one, we're going to die, and then we're going to have everything on the blockchain. That's what we're trying to do. That's how we're developing right now.
What was your reaction after the Bitcoin law passed in El Salvador? Did it inspire you?
I was shocked, and then if anyone saw the documentary for HBO, and actually I appears on the documentary because they show me in shock when the president said that. I was like, wow, I would never expect that thing, right? And I think it's a good move that the government did, especially because it's a small country. And a small country like that, it's easy for you to implement new technology. But what I think it's still missing there is trying to make people to actually receive Bitcoin just straight away. They didn't prepare everyone to receive it. So that was a bad move, but it's a good move to say, well, now the government is buying Bitcoin as a reserve, not just gold, but also have Bitcoin. That's cool, amazing. But I think Bitcoin, we need to do a lot of the technology before to go to the mainstream. I don't think there is a blockchain ready for the mainstream. I don't think the user is ready for the mainstream, especially because of the volatility. That's where I think USDT fits perfect, because the El Salvadorians, they are already using dollar. Their local currency is dollar. So now it's cool to combine USDT and Bitcoin. Now I think having the conference over there is going to be even better because the locals can come and learn much more. It was not just like when the La BitConf happened and when the president said there like a few years ago. I don't think they were prepared. Now bringing all these guys over there to educating them and then tell them how it actually works, I think is perfect. Now finally I think we can have a savings wallet in Bitcoin, and you have like our daily basis wallet in USDT, and everything's in blockchain. We don't need the old system there anymore. And small countries like El Salvador, if they implement that, cool. I think it's only missing education.
So my initial reaction was I had like a mixed feelings about it. You know, I come from the mindset of libertarian and crypto anarchy, and when I see their like top-down approaches being forced to people, I tend to be kind of skeptical. So initial idea was that everybody has to accept Bitcoin, which I didn't like. And then it was kind of in a way that if you really don't have the means or you don't want to, you don't need to accept Bitcoin, which is for me much better. Because then it's more on the voluntary base, which I'm totally in favor of. And what Salvador is amazing for, like they have a president that really gets what money is and how system works. And thanks to him, you know, the country is really progressing. And what I love to see is that also the education activities right now in Salvador are booming. You know, Mi Primer Bitcoin guys, El Zonten and Berlin and all the places. So right now the education is kind of pushing forward so that the people really get what they are doing with Bitcoin, how the Bitcoin works and all of it. So I love that it's really connected. And I live, you know, 50% of the year in Honduras, and I see that Hondurans are very well motivated and inspired by Salvador. So thanks to the example of Salvador, the Hondurans are much more able to listen to Bitcoin. They're open to the ideas. They are coming to the classes because they heard that just next door, it really works for them. So I think it's net positive, and we will see how that will develop as well.
I had mixed feelings as well, but I think it was a good move. Perhaps it was the only move to successfully do it quick so that they didn't get cut down in the middle. What's missing is to a degree education and real adoption. But adoption will come with solutions where people don't even know they are using crypto, like with Router or Krypton, where Brazilians can pay, and in the background the stability is needed, because for a merchant it's a little difficult to understand the philosophy of Bitcoin, because they need to pay goods, and if we've been in Bitcoin several cycles, and for me, that I understand the technology and how it works, it was really easy. Also, for being in Argentina, we are used to this volatility. But for a merchant that needs to pay the goods that they are going to sell, if the fluctuation is too big, for people thinking about a late outcome, or in several years, or in a cycle of 4 years, it's a little difficult. The first step is stability. So for real adoption, use case for Tether is really necessary. And I say it as a Bitcoiner, because not everyone can understand, and understanding needs education, and that education will come up eventually, like we'll learn to use debit cards, because there weren't in the beginning, and in the first steps of debit cards there was a little struggle or worries, or where is my money, but real adoption will come eventually. But we have to take baby steps and educate the people.
Do you guys think that Honduras could become the next El Salvador in adoption?
As a country and people, they want it, but the current government, I don't see them very in favor. Funnily enough, you know, today I was just scrolling Twitter, and there was a message that Bukele donated 2 Bitcoins to Honduras to build out, I think, like 1,000 schools, something like that, to help build it out. So, as far as I know, the current president, Xiomara, they are in kind of close touch with Bukele, with Nayib, and they talk about Bitcoin as well. But from how the bank works and how you see, you know, banking and politics working out in Honduras, it doesn't seem too much in favor of Bitcoin. We established the academy and our company in a special economic zone called Prospera, which is Bitcoin as a legal tender, Bitcoin as a unit of account, the only jurisdiction in the world that they are doing that. So in that area, it's a small place, and Bitcoin, you can pay everything in there with Bitcoin. And people are seeing the benefits of it. but they are still kind of influenced by the politics. And so I think it's going to take more years. We will see what the next government next year will do. There's a huge push into a different party that's much more in favor of crypto, of free property, private property, and so on. So we will see. We will see. I would love to see a change.
Okay, but what about Brazil?
Well, a couple of years ago, I was one of the guys that fight every single bank in Brazil. And I sued this biggest 6 banks in Brazil. I won every single one of those fights.
Wow.
And I used to be a very, very, very difficult guy too, of course, because of it. I even went, as a funny story, but I even went to the Brazilian Central Bank with a T-shirt, and it was written on F the banks, okay, on the Brazilian Central Bank. So I was fighting a couple of years ago, I was fighting all that. But and then everything started changing. Now we see banks actually selling Bitcoins. We see banks selling ETF, which I think is cool. It's good because people are going to start to asking questions. What is this thing inside the bank? What is this bank talking about? So I think it's more like a Trojan horse that we can actually use for that. That being said, also the banks in Brazil, now they are saying the big banks, they having dollar account. Now is a possibility the digital banks has a USDT as a dollar account too. Now is a possibility to have to be the Trojan horse, the dollar account that the Brazilians they want to have. Now they're going to be able to see USDT there. They'll probably ask question, what is this address that I'm having? And now the banks after that can start to offer Bitcoin. But I think on what's going to happen, at least for the next 10 years, Bitcoin, because the volatility is going to be used more or less as a savings account, and probably the USDT as, let's say, my savings account for a bad economy. And then you have Pix, because Pix works everywhere. And with our technology, connecting USDT and Bitcoin makes it possible. I think the adoption, it's going to happen, but it's going to be slowly. And then the funny part is the banks before that was against, now they are in favor. And that is the big thing that's going to happen, is because people are going to start asking questions. Now the bank is the custodian. So now the bank is like, okay, I'm custodying the keys, cool, the government is happy with that. Now the next move is going to be why I cannot be the custodian. So now the user is going to start to ask those questions. So was a very cool thing that happened that the banks start to offer that. So I think in a couple of years, we're going to see more users using much more USDT and then having the Bitcoin as a savings account. And then maybe in 20 years time, when the Bitcoin price is so stable because everybody's using, so then people say like, well, it doesn't matter. I can use the Bitcoin because my average price is, let's say, I don't know, $60,000, and Bitcoin price now is $1 million. So I don't care how much is because my average price is 60,000. So then I think maybe in 20 years, people are going to be using USDT and Bitcoin as just a normal currency every day. But the key was having the banks adding Bitcoin because they don't want to be part of it. So a very good Trojan horse.
Can I just add on that? You reminded me of one thing, because it's really important that the banks and the government see benefit of Bitcoin and crypto for themselves and for the people as well, hopefully. But in Honduras, the biggest issue is remittances. There's a huge amount. This is the biggest kind of GDP or money income for the country is remittances from US. And the fees that people need to pay for that are insane, like millions and tens of millions of dollars a year. There is no solution yet that would utilize crypto, either USDT or Liquid or Bitcoin, that would kind of simplify it and put the prices and fees down. So I think this might be like for Honduras, like the first really major step. Somebody coming in, maybe you guys, and helping out with that, because that is a really like a pain point of Hondurans.
Yeah, I'm going to give even I think it's perfect. Like I said, we always like use, this is the Trojan horse that we're going to be able to. Same thing in Brazil. People in Brazil, they receive money from overseas, especially the United States. And then now they realize, including the banks, realize that being part of it, it's a good thing, because they need to have reserves in Bitcoin now, because those banks say, okay, hold on a sec. If those financial companies such as BlackRock and all those guys, they are buying Bitcoin, me as a bank going to sell to them. But how do I get those Bitcoins to sell to them? Well, I want to make people to be able to get it here. So now I think the same situation is happening in Brazil with money transferring being using Bitcoin and USDT. Just for people to know, USDT in Brazil represent 90% of our crypto transactions. Yes, Bitcoin is not the number one user there. USDT is the number one user there. Brazil itself managed every single day 500 million USDT every single day. So now people is realizing, but why is that? Because people buy USDT, get USDT, and then they trade overseas. They trade in platforms such as Bitfinex or even Bitstamp, those platforms, because it's better for them. So I think on both scenarios, banks will realize the remittance is also a big key.
In Argentina, you have.
In Argentina, we have been used to chaos. Like the documentary is very well addressed the name, and we have been dollarized since I can remember. Like our means of savings, because we have the Monday diary. Every 5 years we have a crisis. The peso goes, I don't remember how many zeros it has since conception, but it's a lot. And we have like a really good chance to understand crypto. And with all those crises, the understanding of USDT is really easy, because we are already an economy that is dollarized. The dollar goes up and everything, commodities, or if you want to buy anything, people protect themselves with dollar. That's why the first step to understand crypto for many Argentinians, it's already there. The thing is education, because understanding the security risk of being yourself custodial of your own crypto, I give lectures about how to take care of that savings, and I found out that most of the people are, sorry for the words, technology challenged, and they're not prepared for that. And in that case, a custodial solution would fit best, but I try to advocate being yourself the custodian of your own crypto. And Bitcoin is like several steps up, because you have to understand a lot of the broken things that are with economics of all the countries, and also adapt the volatility in regulations in Argentina, that every time the government changes, it's like scrap everything and start over or whatever. So we are used to bypass these kinds of struggle, and I think it could be a good solution, but not forcing it like a parallel obligatory means to accept Bitcoin or USDT, because of real use case adoption. That's the way I think it's gonna happen, and we have the potential.
How do you think this adoption will happen in each of your countries?
Yes, like I said earlier, the adoption, we're participants in that. It's gonna come from solutions where, how we see it at least, from solutions where people start using crypto without even noticing. Like, for example, the use case of Brazilians coming to Argentina, paying directly in reals, and we have to educate the merchants that accept it, the importance of USDT. But if they don't want the stability of USDT, we translate the USDT to Argentinian pesos. So a fit of all the different currencies to be able to convert directly without the person even knowing it, and enable the traditional system to use it as well without even noticing. I think that's the means to faster adoption in every country at least.
Yeah, totally. So reflecting on Honduras, we came in, and basically on Roatan, on the island, there was one place accepting Bitcoin. Like, there was literally like no community, nothing. So we kind of started from the ground. And right now there are like 60 places, almost 70 places accepting Bitcoin, people going to classes. Right now, actually yesterday we finished the Bitcoin diploma graduation for the teachers in one school. But it really requires pushing and explaining like why even bother about Bitcoin. And looking back to the education process, like we always start with how money works and what is wrong on money and what was the history. And if somebody gets control of the money, it doesn't end up well. And when people really get this, they are much more willing to open up and to really listen to what Bitcoin is as a solution. And also what I find is important is that people need to start value their own time much more. Because for me, you're exchanging your time and energy that is limited for something that's unlimited. And if you don't get this connection, then you don't care about other solutions. You don't care about Bitcoin. And once you get that connection, you start to value yourself much more, and that's what kickstarts in people the journey of self-sovereignty, keeping their own money in their own hands. Because I see the same as you. There's such a low percentage of people that are willing to custody their own funds because they're afraid. They think they are not capable, although some clients I have are like 80 years old and they are pretty amazing with like how to store their funds. So they're afraid. There's a lot of misconceptions about it. And it's the same as with like, running or having password managers, having, some really like strong passwords. There's a low population percentage doing that.
But we need to upgrade these skills.
Yeah, totally. Like it's totally education based. We need to really like push forward.
To our clients or friends, I give an analogy that to have your crypto in your wallet, have only what you feel comfortable having in cash in your physical wallet.
Yes, exactly.
And if not, use a hardware wallet.
Exactly.
It's a necessity.
Yeah, just like a safe in your house and exactly your physical wallet. So thanks that you brought the analogy because it's super important and easy then to explain the concepts of Bitcoin to people. They're then much more willing to open up and listen. So I see, the adoption happening bottom up. That's what kind of stays, because if you do it top down, you change the party, you change the politician, you change the president, and suddenly it can just fall apart super quickly.
I think we can feel very identified with that last part.
Yeah, but it's like for everything happening, we need to combine a lot of things. People to understand this, so education is really important, especially because most of the applications in the market as a wallet, let's face it, it's very complicated. When you tell someone, say, you need to save your 12 words, like, what? So people used to use only 6 codes, like a PIN code with 6 digits, and now we're telling them that they need to save 12 words. It's very complicated. And the application for wallet, it's also complicated because most of the wallets have like 13 blockchains. Then you have like 300 coins.
The gas fees.
And the gas fees and all that. So now imagine say, okay, you know what? You can have a digital dollar account, which is USDT, but you need to have gas. What is that thing called gas? What do you mean? No, if you're using Ethereum, then you need to use ETH. So it's not gas, it's ETH. No, ETH is the gas. So it's very complicated for people. So that's why when I see El Salvador, it was amazing what happened over there, but I don't think was well prepared. We didn't educate the people yet. We need to educate the merchant, to tell the merchant, listen, if you don't want to stay in Bitcoin, but here's the history about Bitcoin. Bitcoin one day was 1 cent, and then now it's like almost $70,000. So we need to educate them for the future, but we also need to educate them in how to use. And the companies, especially the startups, it's a huge opportunity. It's a huge opportunity. Look what did in El Salvador. Their wallet, I'm sorry, it's horrible. It's horrible, their wallet. So look the opportunity that you guys have to
You mean Chivo or which one?
Yes, the Chivo.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's horrible, that wallet.
Chivo is, but you have Blink, you have Aqua, so you have, I think like it's going good direction already.
Yes, now I think that this, but again, it's opportunity. Now imagine you educate the local startups to develop something. Local startups, they know their culture. They know how it works. Now Aqua is good, cool, but did any person from Aqua working in Honduras or El Salvador? No, they don't understand how people work. It's the same thing. Someone go to Brazil and say, you know what? Well, let's put on the POS or another POS machine. Yeah, another POS machine. It's complicated. So if you have a local startup working, understand the culture, understand the market, and develop something that will fit in as the user is using a banking app, that is a very good thing. So now having a country like El Salvador that support, that is a law for it, and now maybe it's a time to the president go to the banks and say, guys, listen, we need to approach this. So as our system in El Salvador, let's say for example, the system in El Salvador is not that cool for the financial system. How about replace the whole thing? Let's put blockchain on it. Sad part, there is no blockchain ready for that. That is the sad part. None of the blockchains in the market right now is prepared to replace a financial system. That is a fact. People say, no, it's possible, this one is possible, that one can do 7,200 transactions per second, but when you put on the real environment, does not work. We've seen, even with Lightning Network, amazing, yes. Let me send to you 1 Bitcoin. If you do not have 1 Bitcoin in your wallet, you'll not be able to receive. So there is a bunch of complications. Those complications, it's called opportunity. So if we combine education, go to the startups, and the government, even the government, go to the startup, finance them to develop solutions on that one. We'll help adoption, we'll help the local startups, we'll help the local merchants, help the entire system. And then if they can say, all right, from now on, we need also to collect our tax straight on the transaction. Okay, we do a smart contract, end of story, done. On the same second someone is paying, you government is receiving your cut. So it's perfect system to be implemented, but we need the politicians to help on that one. If you don't have them, then fine. But like you said, if we come from the guys that understand education, startups, and you have those guys over here that create the laws, meeting in the middle, then you have a perfect solution for the world or for third world countries like such as El Salvador, Brazil, Argentina, and all that.